I'm alive! I'm actually alive, I know. All of you are so happy to see me. Insert cricket noises I can't actually edit in because I don't have them. One day, perhaps. Anyway, hello everyone, I am the Seaman235 and I am back with an update video. Now, I do have a little special something as well that I never actually edited together, but now that I say that, I'm gonna have to edit it. I made a random ramble a while ago. I forget what it was about. One of the things I know it was about was actually the Venom trailer that came out, and I wanted to I wanted to actually make a video about that. I never got the chance to though. So here's the update. First, the Sonic Forces video is actually coming. In fact, by the time I edit this, it probably should be nearly done. I only have to edit in the music for the first part. However, for those who are wondering where it is, all two of you that probably don't even care, but hey, if you do care, this update's here if you do. If you don't, that's fine, I don't mind. But, yeah, my Sonic Forces vlog is quite long, because I didn't know when to shut up. It's really long. It's like 6 videos I have to edit all together. Now, to be fair, I am making decent progress now, but for a while I wasn't, and, you know, that was really annoying. But now I seem to be doing okay. I'm gonna have the first part uploaded sometime this week. In the meantime, enjoy a random ramble that really should have come out sooner, when the Venom trailer actually dropped. Mania Plus, since I might as well get it out of the way since I saw the trailer. I don't know if this has been news for a while. I know there was a leak a while ago that leaked some of this stuff. I'm not really sure if that still applies here, but I saw the trailer for the first time today, and the animation is beautiful as always. I mean, not really too surprising there. At the same time, we actually saw quite a bit of new things. We got to see Ray and Mighty in action, and it's really neat because Ray is actually kind of like the Cape from Mario World. I don't know if it actually controls the same way. It'd be funny as hell if it did. But yeah, that's how Ray plays. He is a flying squirrel, and his flying seems to be infinite, or at least a lot better than Tails is, which is insane. Mighty, on the other hand, seems to have this... He essentially has the bounce attack. Or not so much a bounce, more like a... Think of the Stomp from the Boost games, only with the bouncing animation. He rolls up into a ball and he just bounces. As for wall jumping, I'm not quite sure what if that'll actually play into account. That's what he actually had in Knuckles Chaotix. I'm not sure if that'll actually make a reappearance or not. I kind of hope it does. It would give him more differences. But right now, from what I'm seeing from them, their gameplay is really fun. And I really love some of the new aesthetics. Now, the level design, as far as I know, is probably gonna remain the same, as the Mania Plus trailer was advertising Mania as a whole, it seemed. But I really enjoyed some of the new aesthetics they actually have for Mania Plus. Like, I got to see... We actually have some day and night aesthetics for a lot of the levels, which is really neat. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Apparently there's now 4-player split screen, which is nice since there are 4 characters, which is more than enough to have a, you know, actually no, there's 5 characters. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Mighty, and Ray. Possibly more soon, you know, probably not, but it would still be neat if it was. And of course, it's getting a physical release, which we knew about for a while. I'm not getting it because I have it digitally. If something happens to one of my consoles I own it on, maybe then I'll get a physical copy. Or, you know what, if I ever get an Xbox One, I might just get Mania on that just to own a physical copy, just to say, yeah, I own a physical version of Mania. I'm probably never going to touch it, because I have it on PS4, and that version's just fine, and I have it on Switch for handheld purposes. But at the same time, you know, it is still something I might as well mention. You know, who knows, maybe I'll just get it on PS4 just to say I have it. I am a hopeless sack of shit, you know, I really am. The next thing I want to talk about is the new Venom trailer, which came out. Now, I know Infinity War is coming out very soon. I definitely will make a video on that. so that means forces might have to be sidetracked. Oh, fuck. The Venom trailer, I wasn't going to make a video on it. Hell, I wasn't even going to do a random ramble, because I'm gonna be honest, I could not care less for Sony's idea of a shared Spidey universe that no one wants and no one gives a shit about. And if you... No, shut up, Timmy in the corner. You don't give a shit about it. Don't say you do. I sound like an asshole. The point is, I'm not a fan of the idea of a shared Spideyverse without Spider-Man because he's with the MCU. Honestly, I would much prefer to see Venom in a movie with Spider-Man, because that's kind of the point of his character. But no, we have to have it. Yeah. Now, to be fair, they did say the Venom movie was going to be a horror-based movie, and from what we have gathered from the trailers, it does seem likely it's actually going in this direction, which is... Alright, yeah, I mean, it could work. I mean, Venom is a character that fits with horror. He is truly horrifying, so that would make sense. Still not a fan of the idea, though. Plus, in general, I just don't think okay, I know Venom has had his own comics, and I know they've kind of turned him into an anti-hero in the recent comics, but I'm gonna be honest, does Venom really need a movie? Am I the only one who thinks that the Venom movie, it just doesn't need to happen? I mean, villain movies can work if they give the villain, and I'm not talking about an original villain, no, I mean like an established villain, like what Maleficent tried to do. I'm not going to say it succeeded, because it clearly didn't, but villain movies can indeed work. I think they can. Hell, villain episodes of TV shows work sometimes. So, you know, in fact, I'd argue in some cases, in superhero shows like Batman the Animated Series, some episodes focus mainly on the villains and not so much the heroes, and the heroes are kind of treated as more of the antagonist of the episode. I remember there was an episode for Clayface where Batman was kind of the antagonist, and he was the one who won in the end. Clayface wanted, despite his actions, was just to be normal again, and Batman kind of stopped him from doing that. And due to misunderstandings, unfortunately, you know, it led to Clayface kind of temporarily dying again. He gets better, of course. They wouldn't actually kill him off because Clayface is too popular. But still, that episode was pretty good. Clayface made for a surprisingly decent protagonist for that one. And of course, there's Death Note, which, you know, the main villain is the main protagonist, even though Death Note did get significantly worse once L died, but that's besides the point. By the way, spoilers. With that said, though, villain stuff can work, but there's two things. One, Venom or Eddie Brock is not a villain in this trailer. He's not. He clearly is kind of the everyman who stands up for the little guy and then gets these powers that want to make him go against that and become a monster. And that is a really bland concept. You know, it would be much better if Eddie was just a straight-up dick. Like, a straight-up bad guy from the get-go. But whatever, yeah, fine, you want to have him do that. I guess since he is our protagonist and not a villain, they do have to make him somewhat likable, but honestly, I still think you can make him villainous and still make him a good protagonist. I think that's been proven plenty of times. Hell, I just mentioned a few ideas off the top of my head. You know, sure, Maleficent didn't turn out well, but it doesn't mean the attempt shouldn't be attempted. And I don't want a redemption story either. Look, redemption stories have their places, but you don't need a redemption story for villain stories. Can I just say, you can still tell a villain story without him being redeemed. Like, at all. You know, at least I think. Trailer, honestly, just looks really bland. So the premise, apparently, for this trailer is Eddie Brock is this guy who stands up to the little guy. He's a reporter, like he usually is in Spider-Man lore. Alright, fine. I believe he works for the Daily Bugle. I'm not sure if they actually say it in the trailer. They might. And he gets the symbiote purely on accident, and a bunch of people are now after him for the symbiote, and it makes him become a monster. He says, alright, I want to use this power for good, and of course the symbiote won't have any of that. It says, we can do whatever we want, we are Venom, yada yada yada. It's that kind of movie, and the premise is so bland and dull and lame, and I don't care. But if I can say one thing, none of it was particularly bad. I could definitely see something decent coming from it as just a decent horror flick. And to be fair, the idea of Venom being turned into a horror flick with Venom as the monster, even with this premise, if it's done well, it could work. You know, just as its own thing. I don't really, I don't really think it'll be Catwoman bad. I hope not. If it's Catwoman bad, I swear, I might just go see it, actually, just to see how bad it would be at that point, actually. Because, Catwoman, as sexist and awful as it is, it does have some dumb, funny moments. The best thing I will say about the trailer, and this is kind of the reason why I wanted to talk about it a bit, is Venom himself. We actually get to see Venom for the first time, and I will say, the CGI and voice for him is really good. If I can actually give credit where credit is due, Venom himself looks fantastic. Now, I know they're not going to have the Spidey symbol on him. Alright, fine, Spider-Man doesn't exist, alright, fine, whatever. They don't seem to have webs either, which, again, is fine. The symbiote kind of stretches, though, so it might as well be webs, just with the symbiote. Venom kind of has already done that. Carnage, I believe, has done it actually more, so fine, that's acceptable, I can accept that. But when it comes to the voice, when he says, we are Venom, and the CGI when he morphs into Venom with the teeth that just kind of appear and cover his face, and the way he looks and talks, and the tongue, all of it was just like, yes, that should be what the film was about. Just turn him into a monster. Hell, I wouldn't even have a problem if this everyday man slowly becomes a monster. And I don't mean like Hulk to where he hulks out. No, I mean just a genocidal, complete fucking monster. And he starts off as a decent everyday guy that stands up for the little guy, but slowly descends into madness, and that's where the horror comes from. That's actually really a decent idea. Now, whether they'll actually do that or not, I've seen some glimpses of it. I wouldn't say that's the premise. I just hope they don't turn it into a bland action movie where this guy now suddenly has to escape from like 15 different people because they all want to experiment on him. No, I want this to be a film where a man that was decent and good descends into complete madness and has to kind of fight the symbiote, or hell, maybe he'll even give in to the symbiote. Maybe he'll just decide, you know what, screw it, life sucks, I'll give in. I don't know, I want to see the symbiote truly take over this man and turn him into a complete monster, and that's where the horror comes from. Both body, mind, and complete fucking horror. They're going for a hard R, apparently, which means it might be bloody and gory as well. So, I want to see some really dark shit. If you're going to turn it into a horror film, you got nothing to lose at this point. You might as well be heading in rock bottom. Just go for it. Go fucking galore. Guts and blood and gore galore. Blah, 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 blah. Just go for it. Just go nuts. I mean, fuck. You already have this really negative impression at this point just because Spidey isn't in it. Might as well just do whatever the fuck you want at this point, just as long as you get Venom right. And to be fair, again, the design and the voice and the CGI is very, very good. I can't show the clip due to copyright, but god damn it, I actually got some chills up my spine when I saw him, and first time, I was just like, alright, I gotta give you this. That was awesome. So, do I think this could work? Honestly, I don't know. Now, it could, But I will admit I am leaning towards it probably not going there, because I do know one person who actually made a Yu-Gi-Oh video for Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. He talked about that for a little bit and said it looked like a generic action film, and personally, I do kind of see where he's coming from. Now, to be fair, it could just be a really bad trailer. I mean, you never know. Bad trailers have existed before. We thought that Star Trek, Star Trek Beyond was going to be this action romp with a cheesy sci-fi, which is just this cheesy sci-fi tone that was really lighthearted. But Star Trek Beyond, that first trailer turned out to be a complete sham, because that was just a really bad trailer. The directors actually said it was not, it did not represent the film they were actually making. And we went to see the film, and it actually didn't turn out to be that bad. It actually turned out to be what the creators said. The trailer didn't represent the movie at all. Some of the ideas behind it do sound interesting. If you're just... The thing you have to realize is that this is completely separated from the MCU, or Spider-Man, or the Raimi films, hell, even the Amazing Spideyverse. You have to take it at face value that this is not going to be Venom as we know. This will be in a similar vein to Catwoman, where there is no Batman, and it's just you have to kind of accept that this is going to be its own thing, with a character you either love or hate in some ways. And I'm going to cut here because I can only hold up 20 minutes. And there we go. The power of editing. You have to take it at face value that this is going to be its own thing. And as its own thing, some of the ideas I do here sound interesting. Would I say good? They could be. On its own merits. You have to take it on its own merits. Would an actual Venom film inside of a universe that already has Spider-Man in it, that establishes Spider-Man and Venom's whole dichotomy and backstory, yes, that kind of Venom movie would be much better. That kind of Venom movie would probably be so much better. But at the same time, that's not what we're getting. So you just kind of gotta take it for what it is. Random audio insert with the crappy microphone from the Seaman 235. So I talked about what I wanted the Venom movie to be and what I didn't want the movie to be, and I figured I'd just kind of elaborate. If newer trailers come out for Venom, and I think I heard somewhere it was the final trailer, I'm not entirely sure if it is though. If it is, then this is pointless. But if it is not the final trailer or the final TV spot, I want them to focus less on the action movie elements or the corporate espionage parts and focus more on the horror aspects and see just how terrifying the movie can actually be. I want them to focus more on the idea of this decent man turning into a genocidal freak of nature and not so much a guy who has to struggle to gain control of the symbiote's power. Kind of like how Hulk was, because that's that is note for note what Hulk is. A monster inside of a monster and a man finding peace with that monster and coming to sort of use its power for his own self-benefit. I mean, that is essentially what the Hulk is in a nutshell, so that's what I meant to say. Anyway, that's all for me. I am the Seaman 235. Bye.